I want to thank you for joining us today. My name is Todd Salkovitz, and I'm going to take you through a Priority ERP overview demo. I can imagine your Alice in Wonderland ERP solution is for one app to do everything, to solve every problem, and to cure all those pain points that every business has, including yours. Today, we're going to show you what's possible in Priority ERP. My goal in this overview webinar is to introduce you to Priority Software, the company, and Priority ERP, the solution, and give you the assurance that no matter what pain points your business has, we can help and we deserve to be on your short list when choosing an ERP partner. Our agenda today, we'll have a brief introduction and some background on Priority, the company, tell you what some of the analysts and our customers are saying. We'll discuss those pain points in a little bit of detail to see if you see yourself in what we see from our other customers. Then we'll discuss Priority ERP as a platform, review some of the technology, tools, and functionality available, and then we'll take a brief tour of Priority just to give you a taste of how it works and how it looks. Again, if you have any questions, use the GoToWebinar control panel, and we'll answer a few at the end. So first, let's talk about Priority, the company. We were founded in 1986, and we have over 10,000 ERP customers with implementations on-prem or in the cloud. We have customers in over 40 countries, 20 of those with custom localizations. We process millions and millions of transactions a year, and our local offices in the US are based in Rockaway, New Jersey, and down in Reston, Virginia. We're currently on version 21, and we schedule two major releases a year in April and in October. So let's talk more about what the analysts have to say. Speaking of Gartner and IDC, so Gartner included us in their prestigious market guide for cloud ERP, which is a pretty cool recognition. And IDC also recognized us in 3 ERP market sector reports. So it's nice to hear about what the analysts have to say about us as a solution and a company, but frankly, it matters even more to us what our customers are saying. So from the G2 High Performer Winner Report, we got some quotes from customers we like to share. Because in the end, happy customers mean we're doing something right. So we appreciate our customers stepping up, giving us reviews, and telling us what they really think. But let's talk something more about your pain points. We really want to focus on what brought you here and what's starting your journey looking toward an ERP solution. These are the pain points we've heard from our existing prospects and customers, and they ring true no matter how big or how small your business is. So maybe one of your pain points is integration. Oftentimes, customers come to us because they've been using spreadsheets or maybe an entry-level small business accounting app on the web or on their desktop. And in order to get more customization, they have to depend on lots of third-party integrations, especially for some basic functionality. But once you combine 2 or 3 of these separate integrations, not only do you find your bill gets higher and higher every month, but then you become a customer of one with data moving in all directions. So reducing that integration complexity and its associated cost is a key reason customers come to Priority ERP. Or maybe they're looking for functionality. Again, a lot of those SMB applications just lack the core functionality of a fully integrated ERP platform. And with more functionality at your fingertips, like customization tools, we can meet your needs right out of the box. Compliance and mobility are another thing that our customers talk about. First, with mobility, we know that customers have employees and staff out in the field, and they want to give access to the most important bits of information and data entry capability to their staff out in the field. We're going to talk more about mobility and Priority's mobile app for Android and iOS a little bit later. And as far as compliance, most businesses have some compliance needs and challenges. And we're going to help you minimize those, whether it's reporting and analysis requirements or through localizations. Maybe you have a need for sales tax compliance, so our integration with Avalara will certainly be a benefit to you and your business. Oftentimes, customers also tell us they're moving away from small business apps because they're just over-dependent on using Excel. Nothing moves forward, nothing gets reported, nothing seems to get done unless somebody's running a spreadsheet. And heaven forbid you mix up where those spreadsheets are. But don't get me wrong, Excel is awesome and Priority integrates beautifully, not only with Excel, but Word and Outlook too. But when many of your daily processes and procedures require exporting and time-consuming analysis in Excel, it can become complicated pretty quickly. And of course, customization is something that ERP solutions are excellent at, and Priorities is no exception. But not you won't have to use any more workarounds. Just use the tools in Priority to customize windows, reports, and the entire user experience around you and your staff's unique needs. And we'll show you some of those during the demo. Of course, access is super important, whether it's access for your employees out in the field or access to your data to other apps, and using building connectors and user roles to give you complete control and give access to your team no matter where they are and what they need. And security is just built into the foundation of Priority, and it's an integral part of our platform. So no matter what your pain is, where it comes from, we can probably talk about how to eliminate it or minimize it, and using Priority to meet your goals. Priority itself is a complete ERP platform, as you'd expect, with giving you the flexibility, openness, the mobility we just talked about, the customizable user experience, on cloud or on-premise access, with built-in business intelligence and collaboration tools. The key is we tie it all together in one integrated platform, and that's Priority ERP strategy, to have it all at your fingertips as one platform. As far as what industries we excel at, you'll probably realize that we've been involved with lots of different industries, and you probably won't necessarily see your own industry in this slide, but this is just a brief snippet of the industries that we've done a lot of work in over the years. No matter what industry you're in, or even what sub-industry within one of these, no doubt after all these years, we've got experience around the world in helping customers utilize the tools within Priority to meet the needs in these industries. For example, if you're in manufacturing, we've worked with process manufacturers, job shops, commercial manufacturers, repetitive manufacturers. If you manufacture it, we've worked with you. But let's dig a little bit further into the ERP functionality available in Priority. As I mentioned, all ERP platforms have similar functionality, but we're going to fine-tune that and show you how ERP with Priority can really go above and beyond what you're probably seeing elsewhere in the market. Of course, at the core of our system is our financials. That gives you your end-to-end financial solution that combines all the financial functionalities and smart tools to help you run reports and manage everything from an accounting perspective. Although it's the heart of your system, it's only one piece of that system. So for example, you might have supply chain management needs. So you'll benefit from events planning tools to analyze demand, review sales forecasts, and check balances with current supplies and create a plan to make sure you've got the products to meet your customers' needs. We touched on manufacturing a moment ago, and you'll benefit from great system agility, significantly lowering costs and keeping tighter control of materials, machines, and work hours. So what does that mean for you if you're in a manufacturing environment? You'll have MRP and purchase planning with materials requirements based on sales orders, open work orders, or the frequency of need. You'll have change order management and revision control, plus lot and serial number tracking throughout the system. We'll have quality control and assurance, letting you define test procedures and standards for inspection of purchased or produced products. With costing, you can track standard and actual costs on various levels, whether it be raw materials, finished goods, or work orders. We'll have multi-division and multi-site planning, so if you're manufacturing across multiple states or multiple countries, we can help you. Of course, full inventory control is built into Priority, that's a given. You'll also have product data management where you can maintain part numbers, bill of materials, and integrate with product change control or product lifecycle management. At the end of the day, it all comes down to being able to get the data out, and we also excel in using barcodes throughout Priority. So no matter what kind of job shop or shop you've got, we can make sure that we can get the data in and out to your team. If project management is a challenge, we'll offer you all the tools you need to efficiently manage and control your customers' projects, including project planning, tracking, resource management, costing, and supported by task interdependencies within or between projects. Warehouse management is also a key feature for many of our ERP clients, and we're going to help them optimize inventory service levels, increase warehouse efficiency, and doing all that by managing and controlling the storage and movement of your products and goods. If you offer equipment rentals, we'll have you covered, no problem. We'll give you the tools you need to manage and control your company's equipment rental processes. CRM and sales, of course, built into Priority ERP, helping you manage and control opportunity pipelines and customer relations. We'll give you sales forecasts to enhance your company's interaction with current and potential customers, which of course ultimately drives the growth of your business. If distribution is a challenge, you can use our built-in inventory and parts capability to manage all aspects of your distribution business with instant traceability and instant trackability throughout. Customer service is used by a lot of our customers to help foster better customer communication through reliable lead, opportunity, and quote tracking, and all the tools you need to engage with your customers and to deliver fast and efficient service and support. Human capital management is an important portion of Priority ERP, and will help you streamline employee information, manage new hires, manage employee onboarding and promotions, and also track compensation changes. Business intelligence is another component of Priority that's growing rapidly. With all of our built-in business analytics tools, we're going to allow you to monitor and assess your business operations and select key performance indicators that mean something to your business. And finally, business process management. I left this one for last because frankly, it's one of my favorite. And I'm going to show you this in the demo, but it's a tool built into Priority ERP, which really sets us apart, enabling us to help you create custom processes, in fact, custom approval processes with business rules built in to help you move your transactions through the pipeline through your business. So you can literally define who has the ability to do what within a transaction before it gets finalized. So all this ERP functionality is important. And just to be clear, we're not going to be able to go into hardly any of this today. I know I set up some expectations for you to see some cool stuff based on these blue tiles, but we just wanted to give you an overview of what's available in Priority. Because keep in mind, this may be your first or maybe your second conversation with us, and this might be your first introduction to actually what Priority looks like. So of course, with a platform this deep and this wide, we're only going to be touching the tip of the iceberg. So we're going to fine tune this a little bit more in subsequent presentations, demonstrations, and other webinars and conversations you're going to have with our sales team. This is only one step in that journey. So if you still need more, you might need things like direct integrations, and Priority has them. We have direct integrations directly into Priority, of course, for things like Plaid for bank feeds. So you can get transactions directly from your bank directly into your general ledger, or Avalara sales tax that I mentioned earlier. So if sales tax compliance and nexus tracking is something that keeps your accountant up at night, we can help with that. Or you might need Zapier, which just gives you the ability to send and receive data from many other solutions. In fact, up to 3,000 other solutions, just by creating really easy to process apps that'll help you send data to Priority. Like for example, maybe you have a Google Sheet, and every time you put a new lead into your Google Sheet, you want to have a new lead get created automatically in Priority. That's where Zapier comes in. You can also work with ShipEngine, which lets you use your existing shipping accounts, whether it's UPS, FedEx, etc., and manage it directly from your account. We also have a myriad of ready-to-use connectors built into Priority ERP, many for e-commerce or BI or other aspects of running your business. And these connectors and integrations are built directly into Priority. So when we do an upgrade, we're going to take these into account and make sure everything is still going to work for you, no matter which of these integrations or connectors you're using. If we've built it, we're going to maintain it. And then beyond that, of course, we have just our APIs. Our system data is easily available, easily accessible to any third-party software and apps with real connectivity using our webhooks and REST APIs. So if you're not seeing something you need or you want to modify something you do see, you can use the APIs and the technology built into Priority to help you create a really custom solution around your workflow. So let's talk a little bit more about how your staff is actually going to interact with Priority. We give you a slate of really cool, flexible tools to help you work in the system. I'm going to highlight a couple of them here. Priority Talk is a built-in messaging app right into Priority. It enables your staff to talk about the transactions and the items and everything else in your system. So if you want to have a conversation with somebody on staff who took a sales order, you can leave them a message directly within Priority and talk to them about that transaction or that customer record, etc. We also have the ability to not only personalize our homepage and customize favorites, but then we have something called packages. And packages is Priority's way to help you en masse either turn entire functionality off or put it back on. So for example, maybe you're in a business that doesn't need manufacturing. Then we would probably just let you just turn off that entire functionality. I'd imagine if you're going to be looking into a system that includes the manufacturing capability, you wouldn't then turn it off, but there might be aspects of it you do want to turn off because you just don't need it in your business. So whether it's any one of the modules like financials, etc., you can go into packages and actually turn off entire sections. So for example, if you don't do salesperson commissions and you want to turn that off, everything associated with that will just simply disappear in your user interface. We also have the BPM process that I mentioned a moment ago, and I'm going to show you that. And in conjunction with that, I'll show you the business rules generator that'll help me manage how my processes move throughout the system. And then we're going to take a look at our mobile app generator. Well, I'm not going to generate an app. I'm actually going to show you an app that was generated directly from my Priority instance. And let's take a look at Priority itself. All right, so I've logged into my account. So you're seeing the main window, the home page, if you will, of my Priority account. So there's a lot going on here. And one of the things about ERP in general is because there's so much functionality, like I said, it's deep and broad, we need a way to really present that to the user that isn't overwhelming. So what we try to do is allow your employees and staff to customize the interface to the best of your ability with our help to make sure it's not going to be overwhelming. So for example, I'm going to show you lots of drop-down menus, and you'll see things on my screen here that look like there's a lot going on. That's only because I want to show you various aspects of the system. But for your individual users, you could really minimize the amount of user interface elements they see to just get down to the bottom core of what they need to get done. One of my favorite pieces is being able to set up the favorites menu. So within this, you can put any form or menu or report or process, and this might be the one thing you need to do to get your staff up and running. Just figure out what your users' responsibilities are and work with our team to help you understand how to set them up in favorites and customize the menu that leads them through their daily, weekly, monthly work. So directly from here, I can go to sales invoices or customer records, etc. I can also use the tiles, which are the squares you see on screen here. And as I hover, you can see them change colors. And you'll also notice some of them have numbers in the upper right-hand corner. So for example, for sales invoices, there's actually 17 records or 17 sales invoices that need my attention. Because I've logged in as Todd, it knows that I need to address those 17 transactions. And in a second, we'll go in and we'll take a look at those transactions. You'll also see a couple of portlets right here for open sales orders and my expenses pie. And I can click on and do some cool things with some of these graphs. I could spin it around if I feel like playing some games. So it's a really easy way to customize your user interface by showing more of these portlets. Of course, I can add or turn off my packages. So in the upper right-hand corner, I can click on Design by Packages, and you'll see a new menu pop up that allows me to go in and turn on and turn off various pieces of the system, like I mentioned before, that you may not need. So you can hide many of these things from your user interface just so they're just not there. There's no reason to have things if you don't need them. I can also add more tiles to my desktop, and of course I've got a full complement here, but if I click on my plus button, that'll enable me to actually add a tile directly to the home page. Of course, if I'm in that window or in that menu, I can right click and add a tile, and if I want to rearrange how these tiles are displayed, I can just click and drag them. And this is per user. And of course, when I click on one, it's going to open up a window. So I click by accident there. So let's keep rolling. One more thing at this main window here. On the right side, you'll see recent items, which are the windows I was in earlier today. And down the bottom, you'll see updates that I've made to those windows, any changes to transactions or customer records, for example. And of course, we have all the drop-down menus. So this is where our newest customers get a little confused because there's a lot going on here. This is where our training team will come in and not only customize these menus, but again, do it per user. So they're not going to see all of this, but we just want you to see the full complement of capability in this demonstration. So for example, in my financials module, I can go to accounts receivable, look at customer invoices, and then look at any one of the number of different types of invoices we offer. And as you look at these menus, you'll see letters to the left. So an M means it's a menu, an F means it's a form, R means it's a report, and things like that. You also notice there's a lot of wizards within Priority ERP that help you do things really quickly with automated steps. Again, we're not going to have time to go through most of that or really any of these menus, but we just want to point out that really everything you're going to do can be menu driven or using the tiles. So let's go ahead and drill into another level of detail. And let's look at a customer record. So customers will open up the customer entity or customer window. And in this example, you'll see I'm looking at a specific customer. But if I go to my dropdown over here, you'll see I have two saved searches. So now I have one called All Customers, which is what you're seeing here. And in the bottom left, it might be a little hard to see, but you'll see I'm actually on record one of 222 customers. And I can also look at one of my other saved searches. So I did a saved search for my customers that have Todd in their name. And here you'll see there's actually 9 of them, and I'm looking at the first record. And I can use my scroll bar on the left side of the screen here, or click on the arrows and go through the various different customers. But one of the cool things I like about this is I can also just change the window view. So for example, if I want to see all 9 records at once, I can look at it in a spreadsheet view, which makes it really easy to see a lot of data at one time. So whether I'm using the upper level form or one of the sub levels, so in this case, I have the upper level, which is where I am, and the sub level is the second half of the screen where you see customer contacts. So for this individual customer, I can look at the individual contacts for that customer. So it makes it really easy to go back and forth. And if I want to come back to the main menu, I can just close this window. So going back into customers, let's take a look at some of our detail for a specific customer. So let's go ahead and move and go to our search and bring up that Todd search again. And let's look at this particular customer. We'll click on the double arrows and drill into his specific record. So again, you're going to see a lot of data fields here. Don't let this drive you crazy. The bottom line is we can track anything and customize all of this. So in the upper level form, this is the information for one specific customer with their customer name, their customer, a long name, who they're assigned to, when they were created, what the status is of that customer. And then across the right on the top part of the screen, you'll see multiple tabs where I can manage my addresses and phones, additional details for this customer, categories, other company data, etc. So you'll sit and work with our installation team, and we're going to implement a solution that works for you by going through some of these main windows and showing you how to customize them. So maybe you don't need all these various tabs, or maybe you want to move specific fields around within tabs, out of tabs, or even to the left side of the window, which is the data you'll see for every customer. You can do that with the help of our team. And once we show you how to do it, you'll realize how simple it is, and you'll be customizing these windows in no time. Across the top, you'll see some persistent buttons. Here we'll see customer details and financial parameters for customers. Within every window or every entity within Priority, you're going to see the 2 most obvious things that you're going to do to this particular entity. So for this customer, I can drill in the customer details or look at the financial detail behind this customer. So with no matter what entity you're in, you're going to see the 2 most obvious choices based on customer feedback that you would do from this window. Then of course you can choose other actions by selecting the drop-down window or the drop-down menu and go into a whole slew of other actions that you again typically would do with this piece of information, in this case a customer. So now if we dig in a little bit further, we'll go to the sub level, and now we're going to see the individual customer contacts for this customer. And I have 2 of them. One name's Jake, And let's go to the next one. Let's get that back up here. And maybe we're not going to have more than one. All right, let's just leave that where it is. And then on the bottom level of the form, it gets a little tough to see this down here. And normally you'd be watching this or doing this on a pretty large screen, so you do have access to everything. But down in the bottom of my screen, you'll see the second sub-level where I can have multiple addresses set up for this customer and all kinds of other details. So whether I'm in the sub-level or the second sub-level, so for example, in the sub-level, you'll notice I literally have 4 sets of black tabs here with different information for this entity, for this customer. And again, you'll work with our team and customize the interface so your employees have the workflow that they need. So again, I'm showing you the full complement of what's available in the customer contacts window, knowing that you can literally customize it all, whether it's changing colors, changing field labels, changing the position of a field, or removing it entirely. So let's go back to our list. And once you get used to working within all of these forms, all these windows and entities, it's going to become second nature. So let's come back to the main window, and I can do that by clicking on priority in the upper left-hand corner. And let's go ahead and look at our sales invoices window. So this is where I'm going to see a list of my current sales invoice transactions. But I want to point out something in the upper right-hand corner. You'll see a little 2 that defines the active screens that I have. So you'll never have to worry about what screens I have open. We're going to tell you what's open, and you can go directly to it just by giving it a double click, and it'll take you directly back to that window. I can hit escape, which will take me out, bringing me back into the window from where I came. So in this example now, I'm looking at sales invoices for that same customer, and here you'll see I've got a transaction that's in draft mode. So now let's assign some parts to this transaction, and now we're going to get a list of our existing parts. So now I'm going to add an office desk. I'm going to ship a balance. I can see that I don't have enough in my warehouse, but I'll let the warehouse folks play with that. And I'm going to ship that balance of 1. And this is how I'm going to add items to the specific transaction, to the invoice that I'm in. Don't forget, if you're going to do, if your process is going to require you to do a sales order before you get to an invoice, again, our implementation team will work with you on your processes, define what they are in detail, and create standard operating procedures documents to help you train your staff and put everything in writing. So in my example here, I may not need 4 levels of sub-levels, 4 different windows of sub-level tabs. So again, I'll customize those tabs for what I need most. Down the bottom here, you'll see, and I'll get a warning saying I don't have enough of this item, but then you'll get to see the amount of this transaction. And you'll notice that it's in draft mode. So if I come back up to the top level form, and this customer keeps exceeding his credit limit because I keep selling to them, I'm partial to this customer. But here you'll see the status, and the status in this case is draft. So status is a super important field within Priority because it helps you create processes that are unique to your business. So in this example, we have a status and a flow that will enable us to actually work through the entire form throughout its life or its journey in our business. So now the next step would be is I might want to finalize this invoice, which will then change the status. So you'll notice I have an invoice number with a T on it, the T because it's a temporary transaction because I haven't finalized it yet. So maybe I want to ship the items, or maybe I want to print the invoice. And if I want to go ahead and print the invoice, I can then select any of my templates. And my document templates, and we could spend hours just talking about how we customize and utilize document templates. But my document templates come in 2 flavors, literally doc templates, which means I can use Microsoft Word to customize an invoice, for example, or I can use some of the HTML formatted forms that I have in the system. So for this particular transaction, this printing of a sales invoice, I'm going to use the one that's called detailed with images. Of course, I can email this, print this, etc. And if I click apply, you'll see a rudimentary invoice on screen, and this one has the actual item picture in it. And again, I can customize all of this. So this will look like however you want it to look once our implementation team is done setting up your entire business. So at this point, if I'm good to go, I can just finalize the invoice, which basically then sends it on to the next status. and now you'll see it's finalized. And you'll also see I now have an actual transaction number. So it went from being a temporary transaction because it was in draft mode to a final status, which then assigns it an actual invoice number. So that's pretty cool. It lets me go through the entire process and come out the other end with a real transaction. So let's talk a little bit more about how that status field really comes into play. So what I want to do is I want to go back to my main window, look at my tiles, and open up the BPM flow chart for sales with the two green gears. Let's open this guy up. And now you're going to see a really cool interface. And if you think about the flow of that transaction, it started as a draft. It could have gone through the confirm stage, but I took it directly to the end by finalizing it. So in my example here, I can go from draft to confirmed, but there might be a situation where I want financial approval for this transaction. And you'll see on this leg of the chart, I have a little red dot. And if I click on that dot, I can open up my rules for moving from draft to a financial approval. These are those business rules I talked about. So here you'll see I've actually got two rules in place. And basically one of these rules is going to see if this transaction is over $10,000. If so, it's going to require financial approval. And if it does meet that requirement, I'll then have an email sent to a specific user. So if I double click on the first rule, it'll open up our rules window. And here you'll see the specifics of that leg of the chart, that specific rule. And basically this is set up to help you create a description and then have it do what you want it to do. So in my case, the do part is to send an email. And I can use any of these other pieces, any of these other actions right here. And then once I want to send an email, I can define where it's going to go to a specific user, a group, a specific email address, etc. And then in my case, because it's a user, I'm going to define my username. And then here's the subject of the email that I'm going to get and the body. And of course, I can attach a PDF of the transaction. And the reason this is all going to happen is the if part of this, and the if part, if the value of the order is greater than $10,000. And all of my conditions need to be met for this rule to kick in, enabling me to get a email sent to my user account because this specific transaction was over $10,000. So you'll use this BPM tool throughout all of Priority to really help you fine-tune your processes to meet the needs of your business, of your employees, maybe even of your industry. So we're going to come back out to the main window. And that was a brief overview of managing your way through Priority using some of the tools we've got, talking about the drop-down menus, the persistent tiles on screen, the recent and latest sections on the right, the individual portlets that you can add for graphical user business intelligence. And there's so much more you can do. If you ever need help or you're really interested in like digging in once you get started, I'll also point you toward the Priority Expert website. This is really the one source you need to access everything you need to learn about Priority, whether it's our knowledge base, checking out our videos and tutorials. And if you work with or are a developer, we have a section there just for you. But the knowledge base is really great. You can go in and search on any number of topics, and there's all kinds of results you're going to find with some great content that's constantly being updated. So let's move on to another section of the demo. We talked about Priority Mobile. So Priority Mobile is our app that allows you to go in and create an application. So here you'll see I'm literally sharing my iPhone on my desktop here. And I have an application called Priority Mobile. I'm going to tap on this. And this is now an application that I can put into my iPhone or Android device because I've got the Priority Master mobile application installed on my device. So once I've got the app installed, I can then install individual applications. So in this case, I've actually got two apps. And just to show you that this is real, let's go ahead into Allison's sales app. And this is an app that a colleague of mine created. And it's really just a quick way to do a sales invoice. So again, any process or procedure or transaction in Priority can be turned into a mobile app. So I may have 4, 5, 6 different mobile apps within my Priority Master iPhone application. So here you're going to see transactions. Again, there's me, the customer, and I can just scroll through these transactions. I can hit the plus button on the bottom and actually create a brand new transaction. Just put in my customer name, etc. If I go back to that main window again, you'll see the other app that I've got, which is customer price lists. So let's tap on that and open up some of the price lists we've got available for us. So in my case, I've got a bunch of different price lists, but one of them is called base price list. If I tap on that, you'll see the main window for that price list, giving you some information. And then I can click on the part prices tab and get a list of the actual items in this price list and the current price, as well as that picture you would see if I put it on my invoice. So it's a great way to manage your world right from your phone. And you can do this without having any kind of development experience. You don't need an iPhone developer or an Android developer. You're literally going to send a QR code out to your user, and once he scans that in, he'll have the application available directly on their mobile device. So as you see, the Facer Priority is very user-friendly, whether it's on the desktop accessing our web interface through your browser or your mobile device. As I mentioned earlier, we also have 2 releases a year, so I just wanted to show you that schedule so you know where we are. We just literally this month came out with version 21.0 that has a plethora of great new enhancements. Again, you want to talk to your sales implementation folks, and they can walk you through some of the enhancements for any of these recent versions. We also got a chance to look at Priority Mobile, so I won't go any further into that, but I showed you what you just saw there live. And then finally, we just want to touch back on those pain points. I hope I got the opportunity to show you something today that'll help you uncover and solve those pain points that are the foundation for making you look for a new solution. At the end of the day, we just want to make sure that we've made the case for that Priority ERP is on your short list of solutions, if not at the very top. We know you've got choices out there in the market, and researching these applications can be very time consuming. So let us help you wherever we can through the process. Let us show you in more detail how we can make Priority the right solution for you. Even though this is only an overview webinar, as I mentioned, this was the first or second of hopefully many contacts you'll have with our sales team. So don't be afraid to reach out. In fact, we're going to do that for you. After the webinar, our sales team is going to reach out. You can also reach us on any of the social platforms, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, watching our videos, or checking in with us on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's probably the best place to get to us because our entire staff is very active on LinkedIn. It's a great way to make a relationship with our sales team and our implementation teams and get involved in what they're up to. So I had a couple questions that came in. I held off on a couple. One of them was asking about the mobile app. So I think I already answered that question, that your salespeople can access their sales orders while in the field. So I won't go more into details. I think we actually went through that. Barcoding was something else that was asked about, and any of the fields or any of the windows or entities in Priority can take advantage of barcoding. So it's really simple, whether you want to use a standard integration or use something like Bartender or Nice Label. So we have a large amount of customers that do an awful lot of barcoding. It just makes life super easy, and every window, every entity within Priority is barcode capable. What else do we got here? We had a question here about just shipping with UPS and FedEx, and the person said thank you because I already kind of pre-answered their question, but that's about using the Ship Engine integration, allowing you to access your UPS rates and FedEx rates and use LTL carriers to get your shipments out the door. So I hope this little taste of Priority was enough to give you the confidence to move forward with us. I want to thank you for joining us today. Again, our team will be in touch in the next day or so, and you'll hear from Ted or Neray, who will go through more details and answer any of your specific questions that we couldn't get to today, and help you really see why a Priority is a solid solution for your business, no matter what type of business you are, no matter what type of industry you're in, no matter where you are. Let us help you solve those pain points. We've seen them before, and we make them go away. Again, my name is Todd Salkovitz. I appreciate you spending a little time with us today. Our sales team will be in touch, and we're here to make your life easier. I appreciate your time today. Have a great day.